It's Monday, July 20th, and this is now on HNN.
Those people shouldn't be subject to any crime penalties at all.
A new lawsuit takes aim at the governor's emergency powers.
I think that's baloney.
This, as Hawaii County's mayor says, the state will not be ready to restart tourism by September 1st.
The coronavirus has now killed more than 140,000 people in the U.S. I'm Chris Martinez with which states are seeing the worst of the surge.
Does particularly well is trigger both arms of the immune system.
One step closer to a coronavirus vaccine. I'm Gwen Baumgartner with the latest breakthrough from Oxford University.
These stories, plus the popular Made in Hawaii Festival, is going virtual this year. Coming up on This Is Now.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for This Is Now. I'm Jonathan, your director, alongside Ashley here. Hey, we just learned that Governor Ige is planning a 2:30 press conference to discuss the reopening of schools. Of course, we'll bring that to you live. Just wanted to let you know so you can plan to watch that. Now let's get to the latest case numbers from the Department of Health.
Hi everyone. Health officials are reporting 12 new COVID-19 cases today. 11 patients are on Oahu and 1 is on the Big Island. The statewide total is now 1,393 and more than 70% of patients have recovered from their symptoms. Meanwhile, the U.S. death toll has now surpassed 140,000 as the pandemic shows no signs of slowing down. 41 states and Washington, D.C. are seeing a rise in cases daily. Chris Martinez has the latest developments from across the mainland.
Police are enforcing Miami Beach's new curfew as coronavirus cases continue to surge in Florida.
We're on vacation and we was just surprised that we had to, leave at 8 o'clock. The other day it was 10 o'clock, so, we're very disappointed.
Florida reported more than 12,000 new infections Sunday, the 5th straight day of more than 10,000 new cases.
I'm particularly concerned because this disease is targeted towards seniors and towards the poorest in our community.
Texas health officials say more than 10,000 people are currently hospitalized with the virus, and Kentucky announced 979 new cases, its biggest one-day jump. Indoor malls and non-essential offices are shutting back down in San Francisco as California deals with a rising number of cases.
We have flattened this curve once, and we must do it again. People are tired of the virus. But the virus is not tired of us.
Here in Los Angeles County, the health department says more than half of all new cases are in people under the age of 41. Hospitalizations here reached a record high on Sunday, more than 2,200 people. Still, some churches across California, including this one in Pasadena, defied orders to suspend indoor services.
As a pastor, I believe that we've been essential for 2,000 years.
The church asked worshipers to wear masks and socially distance, but there was singing, which health officials say can increase the spread. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Now there's been another lawsuit filed seeking to overturn the state's emergency powers during the pandemic, but the state says that suit has no merit. Lacey Denise has the details.
There's a new challenge to Governor Ige's emergency orders. A lawsuit was filed on behalf of a Kona family alleging the governor's powers lapsed on May 3rd. The suit says under Hawaii law, those powers terminate 60 days after they go into effect. And that means any quarantine violations after May 3rd are not valid, according to the challenge.
When his authority to issue emergency orders ended automatically, anything that he did in that regard subsequently was unlawful.
I think that's baloney, and I have every expectation that our Attorney General will kick the crap out of that argument in court.
The lawsuit comes about 2 weeks after a federal judge dismissed a legal challenge to the state's 14-day quarantine. The judge said the quarantine was reasonable given the public health crisis caused by the pandemic. For This Is Now, I'm Lacey Denise.
Meantime, Hawaii County Mayor Harry Kim says the state won't be ready to restart tourism on September 1st. Kim also tells West Hawaii Today that he doesn't think the state is ready to allow out-of-state college students to Hawaii. He says the risk is not acceptable and he doesn't want a set date to reopen Hawaii. Last week, UH announced that out-of-state students who test negative will undergo a modified quarantine. They'd be able to participate in school activities only and must return to their dorm or place of housing. The White House coronavirus briefings are coming back. The announcement came from the president this morning, who says the briefings were a ratings hit.
We had very successful briefings. I was doing them, and we had a lot of people watching, record numbers watching. In the history of cable television, there's never been anything like it.
The president says the first one will probably happen tomorrow. He stopped appearing at these briefings in April.
Today we have some promising early stage results to report from a clinical trial test of a coronavirus vaccine. Gwen Baumgartner has more on that.
Researchers are having promising results with an experimental vaccine being developed by the University of Oxford and the pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca. The study in The Lancet looked at more than 1,000 healthy adults and found the vaccine induced strong antibody and immune responses.
What this vaccine does particularly well is trigger both arms of the immune system. So in addition to neutralizing antibodies, which other vaccines do, we also see a very strong T-cell response.
Researchers saw the strongest immune response in the 10 people who got 2 doses. Half the people in the study got the coronavirus vaccine. The other half got a meningitis vaccine. People who had the COVID vaccine had side effects including fever, chills, and muscle pain more often than the other group. Dr. Barry Bloom is with Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health.
They gave a small number of individuals the equivalent of Tylenol, called paracetamol in the UK. And that lessened the symptoms quite significantly to make them more tolerable without compromising the immune responses.
Now researchers will enroll tens of thousands of patients to see if the vaccine is able to protect people from COVID-19. Last week, a study on the experimental coronavirus vaccine being developed by Moderna and the National Institute of Health showed it was well tolerated and prompted an immune response with no serious adverse events.
Vaccines remain the world's best hope at controlling this epidemic.
Researchers are currently testing more than 20 coronavirus vaccines in people around the world. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, London.
A Hawaiian Airlines spokesperson says flight attendants are training once again, following a cluster linked to more than a dozen infections. Company officials say they're implementing stricter health protocols this time. That includes smaller class sizes, the use of face masks and social distancing, and frequent equipment cleaning. The airline says the courses are required by the FAA.
With capacity limited, state officials are hoping a new FDA-approved method will help ramp up testing. Dylan Ancheta has the details.
The new method is called pooling. Medical experts have been considering it for some time now, but with the latest FDA approval, Hawaii health officials say this is a game changer in the way samples are tested by labs.
Nasal swabs would still be taken from patients as normal. From there, Dr. Scott Miskovich explains how it works.
But then when it goes to the lab is allowed to take 4 little aliquots of what's in that tube, mix them into one tube, and run that one single tube. The theory is if the whole tube comes back negative, then all 4 of those samples are considered negative.
But if it comes back positive, the samples will need to be rerun individually to find the 1 or more samples with the virus. With the method allowing for up to 4 patients to be cleared at once, Lieutenant Governor Josh Green says it will help get the state to where it needs to be in terms of testing.
I think this could be very well the solution we've been waiting for. I felt for a long time we've needed to increase our capacity to over 10,000 tests a day to restore society in the way we need to.
Green says right now the state has a maximum capacity to test about 5,300 samples a day, but the most they've done was 2,300. He said pooling will open up tests to low-risk individuals rather than the symptomatic patients tests were previously reserved for. This means teachers, residents, and first responders may now be eligible.
With tests being in shorter supply and the reagents being in shorter supply nationally, this could be great. So I'm hoping to multiply our capacity to test very significantly, maybe by 4 times.
So this is a nice thing that we should be looking for, since we have a challenge for the amount of testing supplies we have in the state.
State health leaders say they're still finalizing protocols for pooling, but say it could be ready to go in Hawaii by the end of the month. Dylan and Cheta, Hawaii News Now.
The Marshall Islands is preparing to bring home citizens stranded abroad by the pandemic. The country closed its borders in March, leaving hundreds of citizens stuck abroad, including 200 here in Hawaii. Radio New Zealand reports return flights are expected to begin in September. Returning citizens will have to quarantine before their flight, then again for 21 days upon arrival. They will also be given multiple COVID tests before they are released from quarantine. Even amid COVID, the rich are getting richer. Howard Dykes has that and more economy news.
For generations, people who live on investments are getting wealthier, while people who work for wages are struggling to keep pace with inflation. The new term for this is pandemic profiteering. Forbes magazine says America's 600-plus billionaires have acquired $700 billion in new wealth since March. Compare that to 32 million unemployed and states with billions in budget deficits. Chevron will acquire a shale fracking company. It's buying Noble Energy with $5 billion in stock, which means Noble shareholders will wind up owning 3% of Chevron. The mainland supermarket chain Kroger starts providing employees with home tests for COVID. The vendor will have capacity for 60,000 tests a week by next week. All three major cruise companies are now projecting losses for the full year. That's NCL, its bigger rival, Royal Caribbean, and larger still Carnival, which includes Princess, Cunard, and Holland America. Officials are currently tracking 7,000 people subject to the quarantine. In hundreds of face-to-face compliance checks they have found, most were at the address they gave. When they have a violator, they try to get the goods on them irrefutably, preferably with video, and then make an example. In 5 months, there have been fewer than 200 actual arrests. However, those arrests have gotten so much play in the press on the mainland, they may actually be a deterrent. Stars and Stripes newspaper reports almost 19,000 coronavirus cases in the military, and a pace of new cases that will likely produce that milestone today. Several military bases have reinstated restrictions, including the Marine base on Okinawa. However, no new closures are planned in Hawaii.
More coastal flooding is possible today. The National Weather Service says higher than normal tides will be rolling in yet again. Some streets in Mapunapuna, which suffers from frequent flooding, were underwater yesterday. Check out this video. You can see cars rolling through that high water. Today's high tide is predicted to be plus 2.5 feet, and it should happen around 4:30. This event could continue for the next couple days. We'll have to wait and see how the high tides impact this next story. Check out this new video into our newsroom from our H&N drone camera. As you can see, a large sailboat ran into some trouble this morning off Alawai Boat Harbor. Our Billy V has more on the salvage efforts.
Thank you very much. We're down here at Alawai Boat Harbor, where this vessel, it's a 36-foot vessel. The name of the boat is called Saving Grace. Coast Guard got the call at about 4:30 this morning. They got it on the radio channel, and so Coast Guard got a small vessel, but the boat is in too shallow water for the Coast Guard to operate. So they held off just outside the waves, and HFD, Honolulu Fire Department, came, got a couple of paddle boarders into the water, and took 3 people off of the boat. There's no word on how much fuel is on board in the tanks. There is a 1-gallon container that is full on board, but other than that, no other information has been given to us. And then about an hour later, one of the people that was taken off the boat went back on board the boat and looked to be securing it. There is a rope line that is wrapped around the backside of the boat, and it looked like he dropped anchor. No further word from the Coast Guard other than the fact that 3 people were on board and they appeared to be unhurt. From Alawai Boat Harbor, you're watching This Is Now.
Thank you very much. Good to see Billy out and about. He's been working from home a lot, so he got to do that report this morning for Sunrise. Let's take you outside right now. Speaking of outside, 85 degrees as we look down King Street towards Diamond Head. Guy Hoggy has an update on our weekday forecast.
Aloha, on this Monday, we've got that nice trade wind weather today. The trade winds are expected to start slowing down by tomorrow. So embrace the trade winds today, savor them, because when tomorrow comes around with the light winds, it's going to feel very, very humid. Not so much today, though. You can see it's already breezy from Kauai to Maui. Lighter winds for parts of the Big Island. Kona's going to be very, very sticky today. And today's one of those days where you got to remember a legend. Derek Holt passed away over the weekend, and he left an indelible mark on the surf world, not only here in Hawaii, but across the world. So remember Derek, catch a wave for him today. And there's also going to be a beautiful beach day with lots of sunshine, some small surf rolling into some South Shore spots. It's not going to be a day with big surf. It is going to be about 2 to 4, 3 to 5 on the east side where it's going to be relatively choppy and beat up. And a big fat tide this afternoon, and that could lead to some coastal flooding this afternoon as well. So again, we got breezy trade winds today, lighter winds, variable winds, sticky conditions tomorrow and on Wednesday, and slowly the trade winds come back in just in time for the weekend. Keep it here on Hawaii News Now. We'll have all your severe weather updates.
Taco Bell has got the internet abuzz today. Have you heard about this? They're retiring several menu items.
Oh no, which ones?
There's some favorites on here, I gotta say. They include the grilled steak, soft taco, winner, love that. 7-layer burrito.
Oh, that's a popular one.
Yeah, Nacho Supreme.
Oh no!
This is all going down August 13th, folks. So run on Taco Bell right now, get what you want while you still can. It's to make room for more items, they say. And some of those are going to be plant-based. So,
oh boy,
I don't know if it's the brand Impossible, but you know, that trend is just huge right now with those plant-based meats. I'll try them out, but I will miss Nacho Supreme.
Yeah. Do you remember the double-decker taco? It was the hard taco with the bean kind of taco around it. Oh, that was my jam back in high school.
That was a good, and they didn't take away my steak quesadilla. That's my go-to. So thank you, Taco Bell, for that.
This is what I found. So Rihanna is launching a new skincare line for both men and women. It's called Fenty Skin. On Instagram, she wrote, it's, quote, for my fellas too, no matter who you are, you deserve to have great skin. Now, the new line follows Rihanna's incredibly successful Fenty beauty makeup brand. Her skincare products debut July 31st and are only available at fentyskin.com.
Thanks for looking out for the boys too. Everyone should be worried about their skin. Hope it has SPF in it.
Yep, and check this out. The NBA season hasn't even started yet, and LeBron James is already setting records. Take a look at James' rookie trading card, auctioned off this past weekend for a record-breaking $1.8 million. Now, the card features James, now at the Los Angeles Lakers, during his first NBA season with the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2003 and 4. James has since earned 4 NBA MVPs, 16 NBA All-Stars, and is aiming to win his 4th NBA title. The NBA season restart is set for July 30th inside a so-called bubble at Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
Who has the money to be spending this on a piece of cardboard?
I know.
Oh, all right.
A piece of cardboard.
Yeah, seriously, write me a check. I found this. Keanu Reeves is up to something new, and it's not acting, it's comic book writing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's called Berserker. It's his 12-issue comic book series. It's going to be released digitally on October 7th. He says this project is a dream come true. He should have said, excellent! That's the only Keanu Reeves quote I know, really. And it was bad. He says it's about a violent demigod who is wandering the earth searching for about answers to his existence, which sounds interesting.
That
and the
sounds
art
very
looks
Keanu
really
Reeves.
cool, actually. I'll give him that, too. So again, let's check that out. Coming in October from Mr. Reeves there.
Very cool. Now it's time for some good news. Here at home, 3 friends whose careers were disrupted by the pandemic have joined forces to provide a new service. Jim Mendoza has the story.
As daily COVID counts on Oahu often hit double digits, a new online grocery shopping and delivery service is connecting with customers who don't want to venture out to the store.
Especially given the situation right now, COVID cases are on the rise. I think we're a service for everybody.
Panda General Store, or PGS, opened its online site in April. Customers can select from a growing number of items from local food producers and distributors.
We offer quite an extensive list of stuff. We have like Ham's Produce, Mari's Gardens, Latour, Redondo's, Sun Noodle, and we're constantly adding on more.
PGS packs the goods, then delivers them anywhere on Oahu. Same-day deliveries are free for orders over $50 and about $10 for orders that are less than that.
The ability to order online and then have it tracked and then
have it arrive to our doorstep. I mean, you can't beat the convenience.
Eric Chu, Andrew Tran, and Evan Asato opened the online store after the state's economic downturn affected their own careers.
I believe their jobs effectively went to zero during the lockdown. My current or my other business, EC Marketing, experienced the 80% drop in revenue.
They use their savings to start PGS. Sales are growing thanks to social media and word-of-mouth recommendations.
So far, it's been really positive. We're selling about anywhere between 30 to 40 orders a day.
To find out more about Panda General Store, go to pgshawaii.com.
Thanks.
Got your order here.
Jim Mendoza, Hawaii News Now.
And the Made in Hawaii Festival is virtual this year. Organizers say the event will have an online market as well as entertainment and cooking demonstrations. It'll be free and is scheduled for August 21st through the 23rd. More than 200 vendors will participate. And if you remember, the annual craft fair typically draws long lines and large crowds to the Blaisdell.
Always a great event.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to see how that virtual marketplace turns out. I'm sure a lot of people will still be shopping on it. So many college students saw their internships go away over this summer because of COVID-19, but some actually moved them online. Some companies did. Naomi Ruckham takes a look at how people are going high-tech with their internships.
College student Sierra Johnson is in the midst of a 10-week internship at the pharmaceutical company Roche in Indiana. But every morning, she wakes up in another city, Chicago.
When my school shut down, I definitely worried about, am I going to have an internship?
The college senior was supposed to be spending the summer in Indianapolis, but like so many jobs, her internship in Roche's Diversity and Inclusion Department became virtual.
What my summer has looked like is just really working on trainings and how can we make diversity and inclusion better at the company.
Sierra isn't alone. In a recent poll from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, 46% of employers surveyed said they were moving internships online. Companies depend on intern programs to find new workers. In Indianapolis, 7 of the city's largest employers have come together for a virtual campaign called IndyFluence.
These are the companies that came together and said, absolutely, we are going to maintain our internships because we know that this future talent pipeline is what we are going to need in the future.
The program has more than 550 interns from 34 states and 3 countries. And for large employers like Eli Lilly and Company, that means working across time zones.
Many of them have stayed in their home country for the period of the summer. So even just navigating what that looks like across countries is very, very challenging.
But overcoming those challenges may prove rewarding for both employers and interns as full-time positions go online too.
In addition to the skill set that I've gained, I've also acquired a new skill set of learning how to network and work in a virtual environment, which has been really cool.
Valuable experience for a job market changed by a global pandemic. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Very smart. And take a look at this. Here are some viewer photos and video of the Comet Neowise. These were captured Saturday night from all over the state. The next time the comet will return is in more than 6,000 years. Did you see it?
No, I didn't. But for our podcast listeners, this is like your stereotypical shot of a comet. It's like that blast of light with that trailing tail of stardust. I'm not sure what the high-tech
I like that.
Yeah, stardust. It looks beautiful, though.
Yes. And on this day in history, you guys, it was July 20th, 1969 at 10:56 p.m. Astronaut Neil Armstrong put the first human foot on the moon. With an estimated 600 million people around the world watching on TV, he climbed down the ladder and proclaimed those unforgettable words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Moments later, Buzz Aldrin joined him and described the moon's surface as magnificent desolation.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for This Is Now on this Monday. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget, Governor's Press Conference 2:30. We'll bring it to you on our digital platforms.